You tuned into the 7-Day Theory. Hard body, hard spirit.
Y'all, you tuned into the 7-Day Theory. Hard body, hard spirit. And check this. On October 31st, in the early morning of October 31st, in 1993, Tupac Shakur would encounter a situation he had been rapping about for years. Now, on this night, he performed at Clark Atlanta University at a show. After the performance, him and his crew, they getting there. It was like maybe a caravan, about 3-4 cars. They're driving to the hotel room. They're gonna go party. They go. They're about to pull to the hotel. They see that there's a car blocking the entrance, and there's people outside the car, and what looks like they're fighting. And Tupac sees this. And what he sees is when he gets a little closer, he sees two white guys. Doesn't know they're off-duty cops at the moment. Doesn't know anything. And I don't think he learned that they were off-duty cops until after the situation already happened. But they pulled up to the situation, and these two white cops was beating this black man of this car. He was the driver. Now, before this had happened, the two white cops and their wives or girlfriends were out celebrating. They were celebrating because one of their wives had passed the bar exam to be a lawyer. And these two off-duty cops who were celebrating, drinking, were intoxicated. Their names were Scott and Mark Whitwell, brothers. Two brothers. They were both cops. They were off-duty in plain clothes at the time. So Tupac and crew pulls up to the situation, sees what's happening, sees two white guys is beating on one black man. He immediately jumps out the car before anybody. He has them stop the car, and he jumps out the car. He goes up to the guys. He sees there's fighting. He stops the fight. The off-duty cops, they got guns on them. They tell Tupac, "Get the fuck out of here. Who are you? Get out of here." Now, Tupac was close enough to them that he could tell they was intoxicated. They were drinking. And the reason why they were fighting this black dude that was driving was because they said this is their story. We don't know if it's true or not, but they said that the car almost when they were crossing the street leaving the hotel, the car almost hit them. I don't know if that's worth dragging somebody out their car and jumping them and beating them, but that's what they said happened, that they almost hit him. Well, they didn't hit him, so what was the point of stopping the car and beating him? But anyway, Tupac gets up in the situation, stops it. When Tupac's trying to stop the man from getting beat on, the cop pulls his gun, tells Tupac to get out of here. In one of the Outlaws interviews, because one of the Outlaws was there, he said Tupac pulled up his shirt and said, "This is thug life. We don't run." So the cops were getting mad, getting irritated. They were they wanted Tupac to leave, and they were getting very irrational and belligerent. So they pull out their gun. One of the cops pulls out their gun. When they pull out the gun they aim it at the crowd. Now there's Tupac is there and a couple other people that got out the car. They pointed at the group. Tupac goes to his car. He goes to the back seat. He had a gun in the back seat. It was like a 9mm Glock or something like that. And now right before this happened, there's conflicting reports. There's reports that say that one of the cops broke Tupac's car with the butt of his gun, broke his window, smashed out his window. And there's other reports that he shot at Tupac and that he shot the window. I think he probably busted it because I believe Tupac shot first, but he shot in self-defense because the guy pulled the gun on him. So I pulled out his gun first. So Tupac goes to the back of the car. The guy had pulled out the gun on him already. He gets his gun out of the car. He aims it on one knee. He shoots one of the off-duty cops in the ass. Shot me in the ass, Jake. Denzel, training day, this dude. And then he shot the other one in the abdomen. They both survived. They did not die. They both survived. So after that happened, he shoots him. They go him and his crew. They go to the hotel. They said he smoked weed, listening to Dear Mama all night, and like he knew what was coming. Like, he knew he was gonna get arrested for this, and he probably didn't know if he was gonna beat it or not. He ended up beating it. So on December 1st, they have and the police pick him up the next morning. He goes to jail, makes bond, he pays like $55,000, gets out. Now on December 1st, these cops, and like you can't, this is the type, like these type of situations, like when people heard about this situation with Tupac, it made him like a mythical figure, like a legend in his own time, right? Because here it is, he was only 22 years old, a young black male in the South shoots 2 off-duty cops and gets away with it. Does no jail time whatsoever. This is like if somebody's like writing a movie, they're like, all right, what can I put in my movie? What's gonna make it good? What's gonna make it pop? This is the type of things that people think about, and we have writers to write movie scripts, but Tupac actually did it in real life. This is what makes him such a revolutionary figure and such a real figure, and he was a man of action. Like, just because that man was a stranger, he didn't care. He just seen someone getting beat on, getting jumped, and he leapt into action and helped him. So on December 1st, they have a hearing, and at the hearing, this is a hearing to see like if they're gonna go through with as far as pressing charges, like because he was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. So they were gonna see if they were gonna go further, like with the trial. They end up finding out on December 1st. They end up finding out that, for one, the cops were drunk, and this is why I say you can't even write this shit no better. The cops were drunk, and number 2, the guns that they had on them. They had 2 guns on them. Each cop had 1 gun. Mark and Scott Whitwell. But the guns that they had on them were stolen from their. They stole the guns from their local police department evidence locker room. And they had it on. They had them on them while they're off duty, going to party, and then they go and get into this altercation with this man that they beat on. And so they end up finding out, which the cop admitted. One cop admitted that I guess the one cop stole both guns and he gave one to his brother, but he admitted to stealing the guns. They admitted to being intoxicated. And then on top of that, and that's why I say it's like you can't even write shit this good, because like this is like the quintessential crooked cop. So they're stealing guns, they're intoxicated, and then they lied about who was the aggressor. As far as they lied about Tupac as far as him being aggressor. He was not the aggressor. They pulled their gun first. And then even the driver, they lied about the driver being aggressor. He was not the aggressor. Whether or not he hit him or not, he almost hit him or not, that's still up for debate. But he didn't. The man driving the car that they were beating on wasn't trying to fight them, pretty much. So after a preponderance of evidence, they drop all charges against Tupac to let scot-free, let go. And the police department in Atlanta, they were going to charge them with like lying and stealing, and like perjury and shit like that. They end up dropping those charges too. But this is what they say. Like this is what they say when like Tupac, him and his story is, and him as a person is kind of biblical. It is biblical because this incident right here, he was found. First of all, he was found acting in self-defense and also acting as a good Samaritan. And this is why I say it's biblical, because the Good Samaritan story, it comes from Luke, comes from the New Testament, and this is in the Bible. They're not talking about, this isn't a literal story that happened. Jesus was telling a parable about a Good Samaritan, how this stranger, and he's talking about other people around him, how like the Jewish priests and the Levites, they're supposed to be higher morally, higher morally, and they're not. And these strangers, these Samaritans, are acting more holier than they are. So the parable comes from Jesus, that he told them a parable about how there's a guy that's a Jewish guy that's on the road. He's he needs help. He's hurt. He's all bruised up, got wounds. A Jewish priest passed him. A Levite passes him. Doesn't say nothing. Don't do nothing. But a Samaritan, somebody that's not even from their land, comes. He sees him and he helps him. He gives him bandage. He bandages him up. He takes him on his donkey and he takes him to an inn. Make sure he's okay. That's where the Good Samaritan comes from, and that is quintessentially what Tupac did. Like, and Jesus, this story in the Bible was not literal. He was just speaking it as a parable to relate something that he was trying to say something he was trying to relate. So this is a made up story in the Bible, but Tupac did it in real life. Like he seen this guy getting beat on, and if y'all didn't know Tupac pre like Me Against the World, this is what Tupac had been rapping about up until this point. He had 2 albums out when this happened in '93. He had Tupacalypse Now, and he had Strictly for My Niggas. That was the 2 albums that was out when this happened. And before this, if you knew a Tupac Shakur, before this, he was rapping. It was always about he was raised by a revolutionary. His mother was a Black Panther, Afeni Shakur. He was named the name Tupac Amaru is a Inca revolutionary that died in battle by conquistadors. So his name literally means revolutionary, and he was raised by a literal revolutionary. So all his early like first 2 albums and before his first 2 albums was all about fighting oppression, fighting racism. Like he was all about not letting people bully you and not letting racist people and oppressors in the system and crooked cops beat on you and not fight back. He was totally for, if you hit me, I'm hitting you back. If you're trying to beat me, I'm fighting back. It's not gonna be no I'm just laying down or I'm turning the other cheek. It was not that at all. So this is what he was rapping about the whole time. Even in high school, he did. If y'all ever watched his, he did his first ever interview when he was 17 years old, and he was talking about, in that interview, he talked about how in his school there was like neo-Nazis, and he was in the interview, he was talking about like what he wanted to do as far as being like he's a new Black Panther and what he wanted to do in the school to try to fight that. So that's like this situation was like it couldn't have happened. Like he couldn't have ran into a better situation, or the man that was getting beat on, he couldn't have had a more better person like run into that situation. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people see somebody bust down the road or I'm guilty too, just like everybody else, but a lot of people are not gonna see something like this happen or see somebody struggling on the side of the road or hurt. A lot of people ain't gonna stop. And Tupac did that. That just shows you his character and his and the type of person he was. And as far as if you look at other rappers that have shot or killed people, like all these rappers that shot and killed people, they were killing another Black person, and that's one of our biggest issues is Black on Black crime. Even though I think like white people kill white people too. It's just that I feel like a lot of it is you kill who you're around, who you live around. So if you're a white person, you live around white people, you probably gonna have problems or interactions with other white people and get into it with other white people. Same with Black people. So a lot of that is with it too. But these rappers like Cassidy, like Gucci Mane, like C Murder, these people kill people, even though like Gucci Mane, he was being attacked. So he got off because it was self-defense. Cassidy did time. C Murder still locked up. But if you look at these cases, it's always us killing us. And in none of these cases, not one case, is it Is it that somebody pulled the trigger and killed somebody or shot somebody because they was helping somebody? Like not one of these cases where somebody helping somebody, and especially not a stranger. Like this type of thing. This incident is what made Pac like a legendary figure that people knew about. Now I was probably like maybe like 7 or 8. So at the time, maybe like 7 at the time. So and I didn't see it in real time. I didn't hear about it in real time. But obviously it made national news. But I don't know how big it was because I wasn't there to see the news and see it. And then plus there was no trial. He was acquitted. So I believe if there was a trial and he was actually like charged and went to trial and found not guilty, so it would have been bigger because it could have possibly been on TV. But yeah, this incident is one of the craziest things Tupac ever did, and it's one of the most legendary and gangster shit he ever did. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. 7 Day. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm out.